So, funny story. My cousin Morgan used to work at Cartoon Network. He used to produce episodes of such shows like Chowder, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, and others alongside a Filipino girl named Maria and Vera, another girl who was of Korean descent. One day, he had an idea for an episode of Chowder, entitled Dead Mung. He gave me the script and tape he made of Dead Mung, and told me that he had written the original script while Maria revised the mistakes, and that Vera had done the animation for the tape. Naturally, I was excited because he had never brought home anything from work before. And looking at the title, I thought it was some kind of morbid joke he had made. And I figured it would just turn out to be a regular episode anyway, after it was edited. When I did watch the tape, though, I gotta say I was very dumbfounded. The original intro appeared as normal, except at the very end, when the title was shown, it immediately cut to black afterwards. The usual clapping couldn't be heard either. Instead, there was a low growl that lasted for what felt like an eternity. It wasn't like a regular dog growling either. It sounded more like a combination between a wolf, maybe even a grizzly bear. The screen came up saying, Dead Mung. The title card was really nothing special. It was just black text in a very fancy font against this cheesy blood-red background. It then showed Chowder trying to cook something like a starfish fruit pudding in the kitchen. As usual, he kept messing up the dish, getting more frustrated each time he fucked up. And at this time, Mung entered the kitchen. Thick, heavy smoke, like the mist of dry ice, filled the air. Because, as it turns out, Chowder had burned whatever he was making. Mung, now very angry, and ultimately unlike him, started yelling at Chowder. And at that moment, I really don't know what to make of next, of what happened. Chowder seemingly gouged out Mung's eyes with his bare hands. Blood began to pour profusely out of his master's eye sockets. He then shoved Mung into the oven. Mung struggled to get out and gasped for air, and asked one last thing. What are you trying to make? Chowder answered with schnitzel. Mung burned to death in the oven. Chowder then took him out of the oven and let him cool. And once he was done cooling, Chowder pulled out a butcher knife from his back pocket. He ripped out all of the intestines and organs. Someone, a customer, came in at that moment and saw Chowder pull out Mung's innards. Chowder threw the butcher knife, hitting the customer in the eye, and skewering that as well. Chowder then skinned Mung and threw it out. He began eating him with a demonic, demented, contorted face, while blood seeped out of his mouth. Truffles then appeared and joined in on the feast. I couldn't even tell you what direction this episode was going at this point, but Chowder finished Mung and threw his bones away. Chowder stared at the camera with that twisted look on his face for about 3 minutes. He then screamed until the screen went to black. I asked my cousin why he made this horrible cartoon. He didn't answer. A week later, I got a call from my puzzled aunt saying that my cousin did something. Police reports state that he apparently murdered several children, and that he was going to go to prison for it. I told her about the cartoon that he had made and how it was a Chowder cartoon that was never put on air for obvious reasons. And even still, when I visit my cousin in prison, I try to ask why this was made in the first place. He still won't tell me, even to this day.